Alright guys, so Venus goes retrograde on June 22nd, and I already made a video covering how massively impactful this transit is going to be, not only for our love lives or relationships, but also for our relationship with ourselves. And the reason for this is because based off of your sign, Venus retrograde is going to affect you differently. So watch this video where I'm going to cover how Venus retrograde will affect you based on your sign. Hello, Be the Hero subscribers and newcomers. My name's Isabelle, and I help you understand who you are using personality typing and astrology. I was the kind of person who really lacked a general sense of self that most people seem to have, and so I often felt lost and confused on my direction in life. Then I discovered the Enneagram, the Myers-Briggs, and my birth chart, and so much more. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I had a sense of direction on who I could be and what my desires could be. And it's helped me so much with living a fulfilling life. So now I'm here to teach you to understand these things too, so that you can understand them and yourself. Now, before I dive in to a Venus retrograde through the signs, hit the link in the description below to get your very own My Horoscope Made Me Do It hoodie. I seriously love these hoodies so much, and with Venus retrograde coming up, you're going to want this hoodie as soon as possible because it's going to explain your behavior to a lot of people. You know what? I know I'm acting weird. You know what? My horoscope made me do it. So, Venus recently, on June 5th, entered Leo. And usually it wouldn't stay here quite as long as it does, but because it's going retrograde, it's going to be here until October. And this is extremely important for us, whether we are in a relationship or not, or whether we are interested in dating or not. And that is because Venus is not just the planet of love, as it is stereotypically said to be so. Venus is simply the planet of wealth and worth. So yes, Venus shows us what our love language is. It shows us what we seek in a feminine partner. It shows us what we want to be in a relationship and what we want to receive. But it also just shows us what brings us value in life. And so when Venus entered Leo, we were all, whether we were in the dating world or in a relationship or single and happy, it helped us and it showed us and it wanted us to reflect and be more playful in our lives. Venus in Leo highlights our relationship with our inner child and also our relationship with confidence. And so when Venus entered Leo, we were all called to take center stage more, put ourselves in the spotlight for ourselves, whether that was in our relationship or somewhere else, and embrace our inner child more. Be playful in love, be playful in life. But now, as Venus is about to go retrograde on June 22nd, we are called to reflect on our relationship with play. When Venus entered Leo, it immediately made some very hard aspects to the planets that are in Taurus and more. So our relationship with play is already feeling like it's conflicting. All of us want to have fun, enjoy the pleasures of life, enjoy romance even more, be playful in our love life, but we feel that there's something keeping us from doing so. Maybe it's guilt, maybe it's the inability to do so. Something's keeping us stuck. And this is going to be highlighted even more so as Venus goes retrograde. Now, when retrogrades come around, oftentimes they can be feared because of how much society has deemed Mercury retrogrades as the end of the world. Oh my God, don't send an email, don't text your ex, don't do this, don't do that. You're going to die, basically. But a retrograde is simply a time to reflect. A retrograde is when a planet appears to be moving backward from our perspective on Earth. And so when Venus goes retrograde, we are called to reflect on our relationship with love and wealth, specifically how we play in love. So during Venus retrograde in Leo, you're going to be called to reflect on your relationship with having fun, reflect on your relationship with play, reflect on your relationship with passion, and reflect on how you allow yourself to enjoy pleasure, specifically in love, but also in other areas of life. Again, this is going to change for you based off your sign. Venus is not just about love, it's about wealth and worth. And so there's a certain area of your life where you feel you don't allow yourself to just let loose and have fun. to take center stage, and that will be dependent on what your sign is. So here is your horoscope for Venus retrograde, which will be until October based off of your sign. We'll start with Leo since they are the simplest one to explain. If you have a Leo sun or Leo rising, I recommend, by the way, watching this for your sun and rising. If you have a Leo sun or Leo rising, you're called to reflect on how much you allow yourself to appear playful, fun, and courageous. The first house is all about the sense of identity. And so if Venus is going retrograde in Leo and your rising or your sun is here, this is going to affect your first house, which is your house of identity. So during this time, reflect on your relationship with how you appear to the world. How playful do you allow yourself to appear? Do you feel more reserved during this time? Most likely, when Venus goes retrograde in Leo, we can feel as if we're preserving our sense of play. We're not throwing ourselves out there. Instead, we are called to reflect naturally, and we want to, in a way, enjoy enjoyment with more moderation in some way or another. So if you're a Leo sun or rising, reflect on your relationship with your sense of self and how you appear to the world. If you have a Virgo sun or rising, this is going to reflect your relationship and your beliefs around play. This is because the 12th house has to do all with our subconscious fears and beliefs. And for Virgo suns and risings, Leo is their 12th house. So if you have a Virgo sun or rising, during this time, you're going to notice that you are called to reflect on your beliefs. This is a great time for you to do meditation, just spend more time journaling, or just verbalizing what you think, because you're going to notice that you might have a hard relationship with play. And naturally, as a Virgo sun or rising, you're a very methodical person. You're practical. You are service-oriented. And so you probably have a lot of beliefs around how much fun you're allowed to have. Do you allow yourself to have fun? Do you allow yourself to have too much fun? What are your beliefs around fun and play, specifically in love? Are you allowed to be playful in love? Do you believe, as a Virgo sun or rising, that you're supposed to just serve people in love, or you're just supposed to be lovey-dovey, unconditionally loving, and keep things emotionally serious? It might be time for you to reflect on how you can add more play and passion into your love life. If you are a Libra sun or rising, this affects your 11th house of community. And this can seem a little bit backwards because Venus is about love, which is stereotypically 5th house, which is opposite of 11th. But during this time, you're called to think about what value you seek in a community. Naturally, as a Libra sun or rising, you seek peace and harmony and one-on-one connection. But do you allow yourself to take center stage in your community? Or do you constantly tell yourself that you have to put everyone else first and be as easygoing as possible? Now's the time for you to reflect on how confident you allow yourself to be in your community, how much enjoyment you get from your community, and if you can bring more passion and joy to your community life. This might be a time for you to hang around people who bring out your inner child. That would be the most impactful thing for you during this time. If you are a Scorpio sun or rising, this affects your 10th house of career. And this is an interesting one for you because as a Scorpio sun or rising, you're already driven towards intensity, but you're doing so in a way that is very emotionally deep. And so when it comes to your career, maybe you see your career as something that is very focused, goal-oriented, and passion-driven, but maybe not from a place of play. How playful do you allow yourself to be in your career? What value does your career bring to you? And possibly, what if bringing a more playful attitude to your career could bring you more monetary abundance? Venus is not just about love and self-worth, it's about our wealth, our money. And so maybe for you, Scorpio suns and risings, the more you allow yourself to play and have fun in your career, or the more you surround yourself with people who bring out your inner child in your career, the more money you could bring in. If you have a Sagittarius sun or rising, this affects your 9th house of travel. During this time, you are probably feeling the travel bug, Sagittarius, because already as a Sagittarius, sun or rising, you have the desire to move, to play, to experience life to the fullest. Sagittarius is the adventurer. But during this time, you might be called to reflect on how you travel, how you experience novelty, and what is your relationship with learning? What's your relationship with yourself? The ninth house is not just about exploration of the physical world, it's also about exploration of our mental psyche. And so those who have a Sagittarius sun or rising during this time, as Venus goes retrograde in Leo, we are called to reflect on how your love relationships are affecting your sense of being. We're also called to reflect on how you travel. So there's really two separate aspects for this, for those who have a Sagittarius sun and rising. Reflect on how your love relationships affect you as a person. Reflect on also how you travel. During this time, you want to experience more fun. And so what are your beliefs around having fun in your love life, and also how it affects how playful you are as a person, so to say. If you have a Capricorn sun or rising, this affects your 8th house of deep desires and sexuality. Now, Capricorns, during this time as Venus goes retrograde in your 8th house, you're going to notice you have a lot of beliefs around intimacy, specifically how playful and fun-loving you get to be in intimacy or sexual acts. And so during this time, you're called to reflect on how much play you allow yourself to have when it comes to intimate moments with a partner, and how you can allow for more of that. As a Capricorn, you want to be the best at everything you do, and so it's possible that when it comes to sexuality and intimacy, you want to be the best partner and give everything to your partner, but instead you are called to reflect on how can I allow myself to be more playful? Or on the other end, what feels playful for me? What feels passionate? What feels good in me? And how can I allow myself to take center stage? Maybe you're always giving to your partner, and instead you're supposed to allow yourself to make more space for yourself when it comes to intimacy. If you're an Aquarius sun or rising, this Venus retrograde happens in your opposite house, your 7th house, in your opposite sign. And so reflect on how you allow yourself to be playful in love. Naturally, as an Aquarius sun or rising, you are a very innovative and emotionally neutral person. You value intellectual connection, you value neutrality and detachment. But maybe there's space for you to find more passion and connection in a relationship, to really immerse yourself in life via a relationship. So you might be a little out of your comfort zone here as Venus goes retrograde in your opposite sign, but this is a great time for you to reflect on your opposing counterpart. You might naturally, again, be someone who's very Aquarian and very focused on emotional detachment and being less personal and more focused on the collective. But during this time, you're called to reflect and realign with how you want to show up selfishly in love and how you can allow yourself to take more center stage in your love life. If you are a Pisces sun or rising, Venus retrograde in Leo affects your 6th house of health, routines, and wellness. Now, with Venus in Leo, this is a call for you to realize that play is an essential part of our lives. And so, what is your relationship with play, and do you make space for it in your everyday routine? Now's the time for you to think about connecting with your inner child on the daily basis, not just every once in a while or for the sake of spiritual growth, but making time to fill yourself up with joy and have fun. If you're an Aries sun or rising, this affects your 5th house of love and romance. So during this time as Venus goes retrograde in Leo, you're going to definitely feel that in every way possible, your relationships are in focus. And not necessarily for the negative, but called to reflect with your partner or in your when you're flirting with people in your romantic life in general. How much do you allow yourself to play? Now, naturally, as an Aries sun or rising, you're someone who is very bold, especially most likely when it comes to love. You speak your mind, pursue people who you're interested in, but you maybe do so with a realm of aggression. And so Venus retrograde in Leo in your 5th house reminds you that there's an aura of love, joy, and confidence that can be found in your love life, and reflecting on what play matters most to you in your love life. If you're a Taurus sun or rising, Venus retrograde in Leo affects your 4th house of family. So what is your relationship with fun in your family life? Do you allow yourself to be playful and authentic in your family life? Leo has a lot to do with authenticity. And if you're a Taurus sun or rising, you are someone who highly values comfort and stability. You're someone who's level-headed and potentially stubborn, but you might not allow yourself necessarily to be passionate and joyful, especially in your fun life, or especially in your family life. So allowing space for you to just be passionate and take center stage in your family is what you're called to focus on during this time as Venus goes retrograde in Leo. If you are a Gemini sun or rising, Venus retrograde in Leo is going to affect you in your everyday communication and community. The 3rd house can oftentimes be a confusing house to explain because it's often associated and used words like siblings or writing, but I feel that the simplest way to explain the 3rd house is communication. The communication we use every single day. So if you have a Gemini sun or a Gemini rising, Venus retrograde is inviting you to reflect on how playful you are in your everyday communication with everyday people. How do you interact with your daily life? Are you playful? It's very possible that while you are naturally a Gemini who is chatty and curious and loves to learn, you're not allowing yourself to embrace passion and play in your everyday communication, whether that's with yourself or with other people. If you're a Cancer sun or rising, finally, I know you're at the end of the list and it took you so long to get to this point, as it always does when we go through all 12 signs horoscopes in one video. But if you're a Cancer sun or rising, you are called to focus on your wealth and worth, which is very similar to Venus themes, wealth and worth. So if you are a Cancer sun or rising, you're called to focus on your relationship with money. And do you allow yourself to spend money on fun? Do you spend too much money on fun? Do you believe that your self-worth is wrapped up in your money? And do you feel that you're not allowed to be confident in yourself or the amount of money you make? What is your relationship between wealth and the idea of fun at the same time? Basically, this is a call for you to reflect on responsibility in fun, because maybe often as a Cancer sun or moon or sun or rising, you see money as a blanket of security, and instead money could be something that gets to be thrown around for the sake of fun and life enjoyment. Maybe, maybe not, it depends. It's time for you to reflect on what it means for you. There's your horoscope for Venus retrograde, which starts on June 22nd. So share this video with friends that are interested in astrology so they can know how Venus retrograde in Leo is going to affect them. If you want more personal guidance that is more tailored, even deeper to your chart on Venus retrograde, hit the link in the description below to book a 30-minute reading with me now, where we can talk about your entire chart and how Venus retrograde and more transits are going to affect you. Because yes, this is a very accurate horoscope for the sun and rising sign, but you also have a completely unique chart and a placement of Leo in your chart that's going to affect you severely. So hit the link in the description below to book a 30-minute reading now. While you're down there, get the free birth chart workbook and check out the Making Mindfulness Fun bundle to access all 30 of our workbooks and courses on astrology and more. You are the only person to access any exclusive workbooks that I drop as well, which includes the Moon Sign Self-Care Workbook I'm going to be publishing very, very, very soon. I know I said that a couple of weeks ago or even a month ago, but I promise the Moon Sign Self-Care Workbook is coming your way, and I've been working on this for almost a year now, and I'm so excited to be releasing it exclusively to the Making Mindfulness Fun bundle. So hit the link in the description below. Get the bundle now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what other questions you have in the comments below. Once again, my name's Isabelle, and from my heart to yours, namaste.